Welcome to the fourth episode of Reoccurring Thoughts. I'm your host, Keegan Koger, and today we're going to do our NBA Finals 2019 preview. I said that backwards. 2019 NBA Finals preview. We've got the Toronto Raptors versus the Golden State Warriors, and they've got home court advantage. The Raptors do. So, do I think they'll change the series? No. And I'll give you my prediction later. So, going into it, the Raptors ended up beating the Bucks in 6 games, winning the series 4-2. Final game was 100-94, and the Warriors swept the Trailblazers. They were down by 15 in multiple games, and the the Portland Trailblazers, they dropped 3 or 4 games doing that. So the Warriors seem ready, and without KD, Game 1 is what the news has said. They will be without KD Game 1, but I think they'll be fine. Overall, KD, do they add to him? Yeah. Does he add to the Warriors? Yes. Um, is he needed for the Warriors? No. Draymond, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry are going to be fine. Iguodala, I'll have to check his status, but I believe he'll be playing. Um, Overall, their squad is pretty dang good. I mean, there's a reason that they were the team that won 73 games, won 73-9, most wins in NBA history for a season, and got beat by LeBron James in the finals, the GOAT. But overall, that's a good team still, and they've got their bench is actually coming pretty good. They've got Kevin Looney and McKee both rebounding and machines. Looney for sure is a great guy off the bench to have. He just brings energy that they don't have right now, or they didn't have against the Trailblazers, which was good for them. So they've got him coming off the bench. They got Livingston, of course, and McCall. They've got all those guys, and I think they'll be fine in the finals, even if they don't have KD. Boogie, I think Boogie's out for sure. I know there was talk that he would play, but I don't see him playing. But overall, the Warriors are a great basketball team. So going into the Raptors, I think they have a good to great basketball team as well, with Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry being the two guys that are the alpha dogs. One, of course, Kyle Lowry right now is the beta, but those two guys are very good basketball players. Um, Siakam, sorry, I've been saying his name wrong. Pascal Siakam, he's a great young player. I think he'll be fine in this series. I think if he plays well, the Raptors have a good chance. Serge Ibaka, they still have my man Serge. And then they have the five. They got Marc Gasol, and their bench is pretty decent too. With Fred VanVleet, who was before the playoffs, I believe he was. If I go look at his stats, I think he only averaged 6 points before the playoffs, or yeah, before the playoffs, I believe. And fact check me on that one, but he's coming to his own in the past few weeks. And then uh, I'm losing my train of thought. I was about to bring up another player, Norman Powell. I've been seeing a lot about him, and I think he's a decent player for them off the bench. But overall, it's a pretty evenly matched finals for the most part, and it's making me think about my prediction a little bit. Um, but I'm gonna stick with my prediction. Uh, I see the Warriors finishing it off in 5. Um, I don't see the Raptors home court doing much for them. I think the Warriors are such a good basketball team. It really doesn't matter who the Raptors have on the floor with Steph Curry. I mean, I just think that the Warriors are just too much to handle. It's kind of like if the Raptors win, I feel like the first 2 games are their best chance to win since they'll be at home. First game is Thursday. I haven't checked what channel. I believe the past few times it's been on ABC, so I believe it'll stick with ABC. Fact check me on that one, but it's been great, man. I've enjoyed the playoffs so far, and it was kind of not shocking watching who made it this far. It was shocking watching the Trailblazers come this far, but I thought they were pretty decent. They had a decent draw with Oklahoma City and Denver round 2. But overall, the Warriors have a good they have a dynasty pretty much, and they are not slowing down anytime soon. Kawhi Leonard, if he plays, if he has to play great in all in every game that they play in order for them to have a chance to be in this series for sure. Yes, Kevin Durant is traveling with the team. Um, Now, as far as finals preview, um, it's been it's going to be a lot of close games. I feel like it'll be more close games than people think with the Raptors, just because I think the Raptors are evenly matched with them. I mean, Klay Thompson versus Kawhi, or Steph Curry, or versus Kawhi, or I don't see Draymond being able to affect Kawhi as much as people think. Draymond's a great defender, but I think Kawhi has his wits about him. He can score the ball for sure. I love Kawhi Leonard's play style. Aggressive, good defense, great defense. Probably the best defender in the league. Um, Without a doubt, the best defender in the league. Draymond is a good defender, but he kind of slacked off this year because of his weight. So once he got that straight, he's been fine in the playoffs. But the one player to watch in this series, in my opinion, or one thing to watch is going to be how the benches play. Um, can the Warriors underpaid bench can they handle playing against the Raptor squad if they have their first five in? Do I think they can? Or can they handle Kawhi? I don't know, especially with Iguodala being on the fence about his health. I don't know how they'll be able to have a six man. With Iguodala was their defensive six man and the guy that would come in and bring points off the bench. But recently it's been Livingston and those guys. And do I see that being a hindrance for the Warriors? A little bit, but not as much as I'm thinking. I mean, I don't see these games being too far apart. I see them being close. Some of them, honestly, I see one or two games going to overtime. Truth be told, one or two of them going to overtime. Um, but I'm excited to see what this finals brings because it's hard to not watch LeBron in the finals, and we're so spoiled with seeing him in the finals every year. And I just think it's a good thing for the NBA to see some differences. Now it's time to get rid of the Warriors, to say the least. And no, but the Warriors are great, man. I love what they've built. Uh, some some people may not say it's been built, but I think other than bringing in Kevin Durant, and that's a built dynasty. I mean, Klay Thompson, who would have thought that that guy would have been a star that he is now out of Washington State? I mean, a heck of a player. And Steph Curry, man, Steph Curry struggled early on, and he finally got his wits. He's got his wits about him, and he's come along great. Will this be the series that Stephen Curry wins a Finals MVP? I know he won the unanimous MVP in 16, but will he win a Finals MVP? Can he win without Kevin Durant? Is the question to watch. Obviously, he got to the Finals. Can he finish without Kevin Durant? Is the question. So that's just something to look for. Can Kawhi finish his one of his greatest playoff runs off with a bang? Is a question for the Toronto Raptors. And can Kyle Lowry be consistent in this finals or in this series really instead of going 0 for 15 or not scoring anything? So can Kyle Lowry play with these guys is the question. One thing that I saw on Twitter today was a picture of Kawhi, or not Kawhi, Kyle Lowry's total finals appearances compared to Chris Paul's, which is shocking. I mean, you would think Chris Paul would have made it to a finals, but you got to think about who he's been on team with. I mean, he played with the Hornets for 7 to 8 years of his career, and then he went to the Clippers, and the Clippers were relatively young and only athletic. With Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, and now he's with the Rockets, and the Rockets only have James Harden pretty much. I mean, Clint Capella is decent. I mean, he's a good center for them, but I mean, Eric Gordon, you got Eric Gordon on that team, but overall, do I see them making it to the finals with James Harden being the primary ball handler? No, I don't. Chris Paul has to stay healthy for one, for him to ever make it to a finals, and two, he's got to be able to contribute a lot more than what he's been doing on a consistent basis. So, Kyle Lowry, yes, going back to my point, I get off on these tangents, but is Kyle Lowry is going to a finals before Chris Paul, which is something I never thought I would ever say. How's DeMar thinking about this? I don't know. He's probably calling DeMar every day, telling him about it. But I'm looking forward to it. I've got a few silly questions I want to ask, and I'm going to answer them. And you guys can answer them in the comments and let me know what your thoughts are. But first question: who's most likely to be on Catfish out of the players in this series? Uh, Kevin Durant. That's an easy answer, right? I say Kevin Durant just because of how he is with social media. Now, the next question: um, who's the most likely to drop their phone in the toilet out of all the players in this series? Uh, let's see. Most likely to drop their phone in the toilet. Oh man, I think Draymond. I feel like Draymond would be the one to do that just because of how clumsy he is or how aggressive he is on the floor too. But I feel like that'd be Draymond Green. Um, let's see. Which player is most likely to be good at ping pong? Uh, hmm. Which player is most likely to be good at ping pong? I feel like Klay Thompson would probably be the best one at ping pong on the Warriors side, and on the Toronto Raptors side, I feel like Kyle Lowry would be pretty good just because of their for one, Klay Thompson looks like a party guy, and Kyle Lowry is a silly guy, so I just think he'd be one on the Raptors to do that. For those other questions, most likely be on Catfish for the Toronto Raptors. I feel like Kawhi Leonard would be most likely to be on Catfish, just because of his laugh. I love his laugh; it's hilarious, and just because of his demeanor. He seems like the type of guy that has something like that happen to him, and most likely to drop their phone in the toilet for the Raptors. Uh, I gotta think about this one. Let's see, uh, Serge Ibaka, just because, like I said, he's a he's a funny dude on the court to me, so I think he'd be the most likely to drop his phone in the toilet. Most likely to have 10 cats. Now this is gonna be out of all the players. Okay, this will be out of all the players. And I'm gonna say Kawhi Leonard, man, 10 cats seems like that type of guy. Um, let's think of some names for these cats. I'm gonna steal some first of all. Popovich, that's funny. That'd be the name of his first cat. Skippy for Skip Bayless. That'd be the name of his second cat. Popovich, obviously, because he played for Popovich, and Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless talks about him all the time. New Balance, because he was joked on for wearing New Balance in the conference finals. Nursey, because Nick Nurse is his coach. Drakey, just because Drake's been all over the place for the Raptors. And another one would be Ginobili. That's funny. Ginobili would be one of his. Another one would be Duncan because he's dunking on Giannis, and that's 7. Let's see. Number 8 would be San Diego State, just because he played at San Diego State. Number 9 would be DeMar, saying thank you to DeMar DeRozan for getting me traded, and then number 10 would be Giannis because he just eliminated Giannis from the playoffs. I've been saying his name wrong, supposedly Giannis. But yeah, those are his 10 cats. Uh, what is it? Let me go back and look at my list. Popovich, Skippy, New Balance, Nick Nursey, Drakey, Ginobili, Duncan, San Diego State, DeMar, and Giannis. That's his list of 10 cats. Kawhi Leonard, you got to do better, man. You got to do better. But um, most likely to still live with their grandma. Is the next question. Uh, hmm, let me think about that one. Huh? That's crazy. I haven't even thought about this one. I've got this question on my list and I ain't even thought about it. Most likely to live with their grandma. Uh, Kyle Lowry. I'm gonna say him again because he seems like he looks like a child in the face. I think he just looks kiddish and he's kind of a little goofy. So I think he looks more likely to live with his grandma out of all the players in this uh, side. Um, so another thing I had a question asked was um, if I had a if it was coming down to the last shot out of all the players in the series, who would I have take the last shot? Um, let's see. I don't know, man. Although Curry's a great shooter, Curry's a great shooter. I don't know if I would choose him. I mean, Can he make a shot at the buzzer? I'd choose Kawhi, man. Kawhi seems like a very very clutch dude, and he's shown it in these playoffs. He's shown it. So I'm gonna go with Kawhi. That would be who I would choose to take the last shot. Um, and the next one would be if I was starting a team or a player that I would choose to start a team. Out of all these players, who would it be? Uh, let's see. And people may think I'm crazy for this, but I would start a team with Klay Thompson. I mean, I just love his energy on the defensive end, and he can play on offense. And he's a two guard. I can put a point guard to get him the ball. I can put a small forward to play defense with him. Man, I'll just let him score. I'll find me a defending, a defensive four and a center that can rebound. Man, we're running with Klay Thompson. I just like Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is a special dude to me. I think if he was by himself, he'd be able to prove how much more he's worth. I was asked the question: Is he if him and Kimba switched, would the Hornets have made the playoffs? No, I don't think so because the Hornets are crashing and burning, to say the least. But yeah, I do think Klay Thompson's a valuable dude, and the Warriors are gonna miss him for sure. Um, if he leaves for in free agency, that is. Um, I'm looking forward to watching these finals. Um, I think I have a few more questions. No, I don't. But I do have to answer some things that I was thinking about, and that was brought to my attention. Uh, Out of all the finals players, who's the best shooter? Obviously, in my opinion, I think it's Steph Curry. Steph Curry can shoot the lights out of the place. The best defender to me in the series is Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is the best defender on the planet. The best one-on-one player probably would be Kevin Durant. Out of all people, I see Kevin Durant beating everybody one-on-one. If he played everybody one-on-one, he'd beat everybody. He'd beat Curry because Curry is so short. Kevin Durant 6'11", can shoot something that, and he's long and he can defend you because of his length. He doesn't even have to really be tight on you. He can chase you down and block your shot. So, yeah, Kevin Durant is definitely the most likely to win one-on-one, or be the best one-on-one player. The most valuable player on each squad right now, I think, of course, Kawhi Leonard is the most valuable player in the finals right now. Without Kawhi Leonard, do the Raptors make the playoffs? Is the question. So Kawhi Leonard is definitely the most valuable player in this series and most likely to win Finals MVP. I'm gonna say Steph Curry. Steph Curry needs to win one for his legacy alone, so people can stop bringing that up. So I just think Steph Curry definitely should uh, be one to, or has the most likely chance to win this, especially if he averages 35 points per game, and if the Warriors win it in five without Kevin Durant. Like I said, in my opinion, do I think Kevin Durant will play at all in these finals? Maybe if it was a close series, but to mess up his money in the offseason, no, probably not. He may come in game three. I don't see him playing one or two, but he'll play. I believe he'll probably play in game three. Uh, but that's just when the Warriors go back home. So overall, this was a great episode. Uh, Thank you for listening in. Of course, you know I have to end it with a quote of the day. Of course, this is the podcast that you love to hear. So I'm gonna end it off on a high note because that's what I am, and I love life. I love being here talking to you people. So the quote of the day for today is. It is love, not reason, that is stronger than death. Man, love everybody you come across because you don't know what somebody's going through. Love is the greatest action that somebody can see. Yes, they say hate is stronger, but always love everybody, man, because you're going through something, I'm going through something. Why not love on each other, man? Make somebody's day and take care of them. Yesterday was Memorial Day. I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day. I hate that I didn't put out a podcast yesterday, but I just took a break yesterday to enjoy some family time. So I appreciate everybody listening. Thank you for following the podcast. And episode 5 will be up soon. Be on the lookout. Thank you again for listening. And I'm your host, Keith Coker. This has been Reoccurring Thoughts, episode 4. Peace out.